There it is. Oh, the errors occur. Let's try them again. I don't know what's going on. There is that. There, now I'm live. Hey guys, you know what? Me and technology today is no different from any other week. Me and
Mhm.
technology are having our love-hate relationship. We love it. It works perfect until it doesn't. But hi, my name is Linda Murray Bullock. They call me the business plug. And tonight I am plugging you into the business plugs mixer. And I have a wonderful guest. But before I introduce her, I want to tell you a couple of things. On Thursday night at 7 o'clock p.m., I am hosting a I forgot what I was hosting. I am actually hosting a Let's Talk About Grants masterclass. Like this is to teach you who has grant money and how to get grant money. I am going to help you if you are a grant writer that want to do it yourself, or if you want to start writing grants for other people, whichever way you want to go. I'm going to teach you from the beginning to the ending. It is a master class. And so I'll come back after the show and I'll put that link there, but you can actually get in on the master class by go ahead and purchasing your ticket as soon as possible because people like this. If you go and check uh, google.com under LSMB Business Solutions, you'll see all the great remarks we have about our master class and about grant writing class. So we have one that's a little lesser, but this one is the master class. So this is everything you need to, as soon as the class is over, you can get started. That's what we're doing. On Thursday night, December 10th at 7 o'clock p.m., I have a master class that's going to take you and your grant writing onto a new level. So come join me for that. That's the first thing I want to tell you about. The other thing I want to tell you about is the Building Your Own Six-Figure Business Facebook group that's over on Facebook. So if you want to be a mom, I have 400 odd, almost 500 people in there who are business owners, who are business minded, success minded people. We get up every morning and we're doing the 100 days of believing bigger out of Marshawn Evans Daniels book, her devotional book. We're doing journaling. So we're walking through this for the next, we're on day 42 this morning. So we're going through 100 days of believing bigger. It's helping us to get our business lives together, but it's also helping us to get our personal lives together. So you're welcome to come join us. It's the Building Your Own Six-Figure Business on Facebook. It's a Facebook group, free group. Answer the 4 questions and you can get in. Those are the 2 things I needed to tell you. Now I get to introduce you to fabulousness. So, hello, Christina.
Hello, Linda. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. I am doing wonderful. So, tell
Good.
my audience about the fabulousness that is you.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for having me on this beautiful Sunday. Hi, everybody. I am Christina Garrett. I am an organizational and productivity coach for ladies in senior level leadership and multitasking superstar mom entrepreneurs. And I live in
Yeah, let me see.
Alabama.
Yeah, let them see your shirt because I love this shirt. Absolutely, she does
Yes, and
both.
I
She
do
does the
both.
hustle. She does them both. She does the hustle and the
Yes,
homemaking.
absolutely.
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 Yeah, so we connected on LinkedIn. So all of you people who are out there who are not on LinkedIn yet, you are missing it. Like you are really
You are
missing it
missing
if
it.
you are not on LinkedIn and you're trying to build your business connections and meet great, fabulous people. Like in the last 3 weeks, you've met people that I've met on LinkedIn. That's how we meet. And
Mhm.
so we find each other, right? Birds of a feather
Yes.
flock together, that whole thing. So yeah, so Christina, tell them about you and the ministry and the wonderful things that you're doing down there in Alabama.
Oh my goodness. Well, I am a pastor's wife, and homeschooling mom of 5 awesome but very loud children. You all can't tell how loud they are right now because they have the fear of God in them. But when the camera's off, it is a total jungle in here. But we are very blessed. Our house is overflowing with life. Um, and so one of the things that we do here in Alabama, of course, in addition to serving in ministry, is I'm married to an entrepreneur. We have that in common.
That's a good.
Yes, in partnership with somebody who's also in entrepreneurship. My husband is a brick and mortar entrepreneur. So he owns a barbershop here in Alabama, as well as pastoring a church. And with our little ones, we homeschool, of course. And I am the founder of the Momathon Diaries, which is a social community, both online and off, where we strengthen multitasking women of faith with everything they need to create a healthy work-life balance. So we
That's
do that through, yes, consulting and events and lots of awesome things. But I love community and connecting with amazing women, just like Linda.
absolutely. And that's why we found each other, because you tend to find people just like you on LinkedIn. Hey, Jeremy,
Yes.
thank you for joining us. So, yeah, so people
Hello.
come on in, share this on your page. Like, don't be selfish. Just go ahead and share this on your page to let your friends know that the Business Plug Mixer is on and that we have a fabulous guest on again today. So what does that look like when you talk about your ideal client? Like, I heard you say that these are women who are busy in their lives and you're trying to help them to get through all the noise of having life and work, right? And so what does that look like for you? What client would come to you for help typically?
Well, I was young when I got married, and I was young when I started having children. Okay, so I was, I graduated with a husband and a baby. And when our oldest son was one, we found out that we were expecting twins. And so
Oh,
we pressed fast forward in the family life to me being a young mom, all my children aged 2 and under, 3 kids aged 2 and under. So
wow.
I had to learn quickly that super nanny was not on the way. There was no maid that was moving in, no nanny that was coming. Our mothers live on the other side of the country. So we did a lot of learning en route,
Mm,
about how to
mm.
multitask, about our relationship, learning how to thrive, just the five of us. So now we've added two more children to the spectrum, and things have gotten much more interesting. But for my clients, a lot of the ladies are really dominating in their business world. However, they're struggling with feeling like they need a body double. A lot of
Yes,
them are
yeah,
feeling overwhelmed, and people are calling their names from every different direction, from
yeah.
work, right? And of course their husband is like, don't work all night, come to bed with me. And then their children are saying, but mom, I need you too.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
there's the duties and things that have to be done around the house. And so a lot of times women are surrounded by so many things on their to-do list that they're not quite sure what to do first, how to prioritize their thoughts and the things on their list. And so my ladies come to me, and they say, Christina, I feel like everything is on fire. I feel like my marriage is struggling. I'm frustrated with my children. You've thrown on being at home all day with the kids, trying to work
Woo.
at home with the kids, virtual schooling or homeschooling, and then you're trying to grow your business too. And a lot of us feel like we're underwater. And so
Absolutely.
because I have, we've been homeschooling for 8 years now, so we've been in the trenches probably a little longer than some. And so God has equipped me with some practical strategic lessons, that we've implemented over time. And I'm grateful to say that they work for my clients as well, because they can apply, and then I usually get a call the next day that says, oh my goodness, I already feel better. And so,
Um,
working together for weeks, they're able to organize their life and structure their lives so that they don't feel so stressed out and overwhelmed.
That's good stuff. That is really good stuff because I mean, my kids are all grown. I have grandchildren. I have great grands now, but I can remember, because with kids, it was like you find out about the project the night before it's due, and I can remember my kid's father staying up all night trying to help them
Yes,
do posters and projects and all these things that had to be going in tomorrow. So all of
yes,
that. So you giving them away because raising a family does not come with a book, a handbook to help us to figure
true.
it out. And so your garnering from your experience can help us get to success quicker when we have
Mm-hmm.
small kids, right? Just understanding
Absolutely.
what worked, you've already tested and tried all the things that work. So if you know of a mom who is about to pull her hair out, then connect and share this with her. Tag her in this. Give her some relief. If your wife or your significant other is saying, this is too much, then go ahead and tag her in this so that she can pay attention. Or go ahead and slide Christine's information to her and say, babe, you need to talk to her. She's going to help us figure this thing out. Because none of us,
Yeah.
you have 8 years experience in virtual schooling, honey. That right there by itself, the homeschooling deal, that right there by
Yeah.
itself, you're leaps and bounds ahead of other people. So let's talk
Mhm.
about, so we know that people who are stressed out and need an avenue. What does that look like when they come to you? Do you walk beside them? Is that, how long is that program? Like, what does that look like for them?
Well, most of my clients work with me for about 6 weeks. I try to amend based on the family need. I'm one of the coaches that says, did you talk to your husband before we got on the phone? Because a lot of times, we as wives, there's something that we want or we want to invest in. I'm like, but did you talk to him before you made this decision? Because there's going to be a shift that
Yeah.
happens in your home life, in your marriage, and how you deal with your children. So what we usually do is we walk through, over the course of about 6 to 8 weeks. I find it interesting for a lot of ladies that they have forgotten what they want.
Mm.
They've forgotten
I
what they want.
understand it. I understand it because you take on the identity of your husband and your kids, and you put
Yeah.
yourself back. I so similar to you. I have a lot of ladies who are in their 50s and they have
Mm,
forgotten about the dreams of their youth. And so
yeah.
I help them to reconnect with that thing because when
Yes.
you're doing, life, your family, your husband, your kid, schooling and all these other things, you can get um, self-identity out of the way, so you can do for all these other people, and you can really
Absolutely.
forget who you really are and what your
Yeah.
purpose is, because we all have purpose. We were put here for a
Yeah.
purpose. The Bible
Yeah.
tells us He gave us talents, so we
Yes.
have we have a reason to be here too. So just helping them to reconnect with that, and so
Absolutely.
very, very similar to what you do for our younger population, for our parenting of younger kids, is exactly what I do for them when we're trying to think about what is their next move after retirement. What does that look like? How do they
Hmm.
come and all of that conversation. So yeah,
Yes.
so it's somebody needs to guide and lead the way. And that's what you are. You're a
Hmm.
guide. You're helping people find
Absolutely.
you're helping them find their sanity, their whole sanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And so I,
that's
I think it's I think it's important, like you said, that we know what we want. I think a lot of times things are sleeping in us because even at a stage where you have adult children, right? Like my mom, she moved from rest, but then she became a caretaker, for my
Mhm.
grandparents. And so there are different
Absolutely.
stages of life,
Yes.
where you have to kind of shift some things. And now that she's moving out of that stage, she's going again into another place of rediscovery,
Absolutely.
and I say, Mom, what do you want? That's
Yeah.
important.
Absolutely. And it takes somebody kind of pulling that out of you. You'd be surprised how many people I've asked. Like I used to be in management in corporate America, and I would ask, I had a group of 73 employees that I worked with one time.
Mm.
And I met with all 73 of them, but I would ask them, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Wait, nobody's ever asked me that because they haven't thought
Yeah.
again, we allow life to disassociate us with our dreams and aspirations. Like that, I take them back to all of my clients, I take them back to what was your dream when you were 10? Like, what did you want to be
Mm-hmm.
when you were 10 years old? Without all of life's ups and downs and without all that filtering, what was it that
Yeah.
you wanted to be? And then how can we reconnect to that? Because that was
Mm-hmm. And it's my goal to keep that awake in my children. One of
yeah.
my favorite podcasters, her name is Darnielle Harmon, and she talked about how a lot of us, everybody's born with God's brilliance inside of them. And then you
Absolutely.
meet your parents
Yeah.
or,
who, who
or
basically
loved
are
ones. Right. It's like then you meet your parents, people who have been grounded by life, And they
Yes.
want to ground you
Yes.
before, you know what I'm saying,
Yes.
before you even get a chance to fully awaken that. And so as
Yes.
I've been learning this more, I've been trying to pour that into my children too, so that they feel like whatever creativity, my oldest son, he is an artist. He wants to work at Disney. He wants to, be a Pixar
Hey,
artist and work on the movies,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
He's just that good. So I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, that's fantastic. You can do anything. But if you wake up at 40 and you don't want to draw anything, I still want you to know you can go do something else.
Absolutely. The pivot. The pivot.
But
Because
we as grown-ups, we don't feel that way all the time. We have to reawaken that.
absolutely. And that's the thing, back when, so I just turned 61 yesterday. So
Mhm.
back when I was in 35-ish, in my 30s or whatever, we went to to get a job, we took and put an application in everybody who was hiring. And the first
Mhm.
one that called us, that's where we were. And our idea was to be there for life.
Yeah.
But times has evolved, things have changed, and that's no longer the case because you hear all the layoffs, you hear all the income disruptions, you hear people, losing their houses, their cars, this COVID deal, the Black Lives Matter
Yeah.
deal. You have all these
Yeah.
things going on, and a lot of people are overwhelmed and they're losing hope, and they feel like they're out of control right now, like this is a free fall, and I don't have anything that I can grab hold to kind of
Yeah.
slow me down so that I can breathe and come up with a plan of what to do next. And
Yeah.
so having that conversation with you, having the conversation with me about what is it you need to do next so that you don't feel like you're free falling, so that you can take
Mm.
some of the stress off. And those of us who are okay, we're working every day. This hasn't really disrupted us or touched us as much. But the world changed in March.
It did.
And some people haven't found that out yet because they've been unscathed. But the
Yeah.
world did change in March. And so understanding what that looks like and helping someone guide you through the pivot. Like what happens now?
Hmm.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
that's huge. That's huge
Hmm.
because like you were
Absolutely.
saying with your kids, like it's important for us to be the guides for our children. But if we're feeling overwhelmed, if we're feeling, like we're under, like the whole world is on our shoulders, then that has to be a very stressful position. So,
It absolutely is.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. No, no. What I was going to say, so when they come to you, you look at where they are now, right?
Hmm.
And you develop the path for them to follow. Is it customized to them specifically, or do you have a plan that works for almost everyone?
Okay, so there are certain principles that can work for multiple homes, right?
Okay.
But usually I follow a four pillar, not system per se, but it's kind of, we align with these four things. So number one is to create a family vision. Number
I
two
like.
is to communicate your needs with your loved ones.
Mm,
Number three is to delegate unnecessary tasks. And number
mm,
four is to alleviate your stress and overwhelm through self-care and strategic
mm.
systems.
Ah, I
So
love it.
if I go teach at a company, if I'm coaching a mom on the phone, if I'm teaching at a comp, all of these things can align, right? Because if I'm thinking about a family vision, even now in the midst of a pandemic, I should be able to look back in a year or 5 years from now and see that my children were not scarred by this
Mm,
time. Okay.
yeah,
So that
yeah.
means that I'm not what's one plus one and I'm going off because I'm stressed out about work and I have all these other things, right? When my kids look back and they think about 2020, they should not say I was scarred because I was in the house with my
Mm,
parents.
mm.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
good
Like we
stuff.
have to work on this. And so then communication with your loved ones, we want to make sure that we're asking and expressing our needs in a way that they can receive and respond to. So that
Yeah.
means if my husband's love language is quality time, I'm not going to keep bringing gifts over and over and over and over again. And he's like, but I just want you to sit with me. It's 10 o'clock at night. Why are you still working?
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
women, we have to adjust accordingly because most of the time men are very simple. And so they may be out of alignment in their marriage relationship. And I'm like, well, your husband doesn't like you working at midnight because he married somebody to lay in the bed with him. Like, it's not that hard, but we have to communicate those needs. We got to be able to communicate those needs, his needs, her needs, and the children's needs in a way that everybody can hear. And then when we delegate, we talk about what can only I do. Right? There are some things that only Christina can do, only Linda can do, that nobody else can replace you in doing that. Casting a vision for your business is one of them. Loving on your husband or your significant other, nobody else should be doing that, right? So listen, having that couple times. Nobody else should be doing that right now, So we want to make sure that, that we're the only person. Look, calling our kids, if your children are grown, there may be encouragement or words of affirmation that they need from their mother, from nobody, they may get encouragement from somebody else, but nobody beats mama. And so you have to make sure that you are delegating what you can, the things that you don't have to do. Your vision, loving on your family, those things I can't delegate. But there are a host of other things that I can delegate to other people, flyers, and all these other random things that are business oriented, sending emails, certain things VAs can do. If you can afford to have a maid come and clean the worst places in your house, things of that nature, you can delegate that stuff. Nobody cares who vacuums, but they do care who hugs and gives affirmations.
Absolutely.
And because we have, communicated and we're making time for ourselves and we're talking to our family members so that they understand us and we're understanding them, then you feel less stressed because you don't have the same amount of things on your plate.
That is good stuff. One thing that COVID did is it forced us to start living in the house with people we say we love, like getting to know them better. Because having dinners together. I'm sure there have been more family dinners since COVID than there were before. Because
and I'm sure more people are ready to run away from home than ever before. Calling it like I see it.
So what we need to do is get a plan. We don't want you running away from home. COVID is out there. You'll get contagious. Don't do it. Stay at home with your family. But learn how to have coping skills, right? Like developing coping skills that allows everyone to live in harmony.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Loving to go home, loving to be home, loving to spend time with your family, loving to spend time with the kids, and virtual learning is no longer a challenge, because I've heard some virtual learning conversations and they weren't pleasant.
It's a struggle. It really is a struggle. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of times because my kids are with me all day, sometimes people feel like I enjoy being around people all day. I don't. Like, it's not. So the important thing is that you're finding that self-care time. And that means that your kids can get sensory overload, right? A lot of times we talk about it in reference to maybe a special need or, whatever that people feel overloaded by certain sounds or whatever. But I dare to say that parents, kids, everybody who is constantly stimulated, it can get to be too much. And so what we do is we have the TV on all day. Kids are moving around. If they don't have the phone or the iPad, they're on Zoom for school. Everything is always moving and noisy. And everybody, we need a family time out. So maybe my children have to go to bed earlier so that I have that downtime. I have a lot of clients whose kids sleep with them, but they don't like it. And it's like, okay, some parents that works. They love having their kids with them. They don't mind. They have the extra big bed. But if you don't like that, then let's work on acclimating your home to fit you, the parent, instead of enjoying the, like they're not having fun with it, but it's okay to tweak those things. And I even tell my children, right? Like they can get overloaded. So because y'all been together, the 5 of y'all all day, every day for years, go in my room, close the door, draw in my room quietly. And then when you feel like being bothered again, come back out.
Yeah, because everybody needs time to reset.
Everybody needs time, even your children. They're tired of
Yeah.
seeing y'all too.
No,
They're
it's
tired
we
too.
gave them life.
They're like, all mama does is ask us to clean up. Sometimes my kids get up and clean without me saying anything
Oh,
because they're like, we just want to relax. And we know mama's going to come in here and say, what happened to the kitchen? What happened in the living room? So let's go ahead and do it now, guys, so we can be vegetables. Like, that's literally what they say, like in the vegetable.
We want to be vegetables. We just want to hang out. We don't want to.
So they do it without mommy asking, but I think it's important to institute these things into the home on a regular basis, that mom is a person, grandma is a person, dad is a person, the children are people, and it's okay if we need time apart, even if it's just in a different room in the house.
Yes, yes. I think that's good. But that's the thing is, again, it's learning how to cope with things that are going down now, like our present. For those of us who haven't felt COVID so much of an impact, some of us, it is like overload. And so just finding solutions that we can implement that are easily implemented that helps us in order to live better, to enjoy this time, because this is precious time. Like you get to have your kids at home and you get to control what they learn, how they're learning, and you get to actually see what you're sending to school every day. Like I think
but see, Mama Linda, you speak like a loving great grandma.
I love my babies.
You sound loving, like you get to have your babies with you. And I get it because I like my children. I love them and I like them too. They're hilarious. But some days it's like, y'all go that way, I'm gonna go this way, and we'll meet at dinner time. And that's all right.
And everybody's safe, and everybody's able to be productive in their own ways. And that's the thing. Even so, I haven't had a grandchild in my house in over a year. They came last year. But when the thing about grandparenting is we get to have them when we want them, and we get to send them home when we're through.
Yes, and so you do.
It's a different relationship, right? So, but again, it's just learning how to make this time better. Like, how can we improve on this time that we're spending with our family, so that we're not about to pull our hair out. We're not about to walk out and never come back. I'm going to get cigarettes. I'm going to get bread.
And liquor.
Later, he went to get bread
and never came back.
We don't want that. We don't
want that.
That's a no. That's a no. We don't want that. So how do you learn how to interact with your family while you have them in COVID, and just getting coping skills to help you to have better days ahead? So
absolutely.
So tell my audience, how can they reach out to you if they have questions?
Oh my goodness. Well, totally come find me on Facebook. I live there. Christina Garrett. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at the Momathon Diaries, which is right down there in the caption. I would love to connect with you and just hear more about your family. A lot of times there are things that we just want to share or get off our chest. And we want somebody that's not going to judge us for, everybody getting on your nerves and you're thinking about going to get bread in Peru. I understand. And so we want to try and make your transition during this time, but most importantly, after this period, when things go back to normal. Some of us were overwhelmed before COVID.
Absolutely.
So now we're triple in overload. And so what we want to do is help you to sort through some things. So I would love to just hear about, your audience's families and what they're working on in terms of their business endeavors. Because sometimes everything is off because we don't have good time management and family management.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So I will put her links in this video after we're finished. If you have any questions, you're welcome to go ahead and ask your questions now. If you should ask them later, we'll come back and see them. So what
Yeah.
questions do you have? And hello, Illinois. Thank you for joining us. But what questions do you have? And if you have questions for her, go ahead and ask them now if you want to. If you don't have questions and you think of something later, again, we will come back and look at what your questions are and provide you with answers. But I thank you for your yes. I thank you for joining me on the mixer and telling me about the Momathon Diaries that's helping people find their hope, helping them find their way out of all this stress and to de-stress and to build tighter, stronger families. Like that's what we need. That's the answer to almost everything. It's just stronger families. So
Amen.
thank you for the good you're doing in Alabama. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And you're not just limited to Alabama, though, right? Like women anywhere.
No, I have clients in Trinidad and Barbados, all
Oh, I
over the
love
place.
that.
Because with technology, we can talk with anybody and work with anyone. So no, when we do conferences, we haven't ventured internationally yet. We've done different states here in the South. But yeah, when we're working with clients, they're everywhere.
So wherever you are in the
Yes.
world, go ahead and reach out to Christina Garrett, is her last name, Garrett, on LinkedIn and on Facebook.
Mhm.
What one parting comment you would like for them to leave with?
I want to encourage the audience to organize their world. I love the commercial. I think it's the Marines where everything is exploding and blowing up, and you see everyone running away screaming, right? But then there's a team of covered, armored people that are running towards the explosions. And they
Mm,
talk about how there's a difference between the people who are running away and those who are courageous enough to run towards the chaos. And so I
mm,
always encourage my ladies to be the ones that run towards the chaos. I've
mm.
been the mom who's been burned out, exhausted, depressed, anxious, wondering what is the purpose of all of this. I'm a glorified diaper changer. I'm struggling. Where did I go to college and get a degree? I've been in all those places, right? But when things get crazy and you feel like your house is on fire, I encourage you to run towards the explosions and not away from it, because
Wow.
that's the only way that you're going to sort through the madness. You're going to get the kids to do what they need to do. You're going to have to step in and take time to teach them. You're going to have to show them how to let you rest. You're going to have to show them how to clean. You're going to have to talk to your spouse about your personal needs, that it's okay if I need to be alone for a while. He might want to be alone too, right? But we have to run towards the problems and have those difficult conversations, and then communicate within ourselves to increase our self-awareness, to kind of unpack those things, and make sure that we're managing and organizing our lives.
That is good stuff. That is so good. That is so good stuff. So yeah, so thank you. So my name is Linda Murray Bullock. They call me the business plug. I just plugged you into the Momathon Diaries. So we'll see you next Sunday, 7 o'clock here on LinkedIn and on Facebook at the Business Plugs Mixer. You all have a great Sunday, and we'll see you next Sunday. Have a great one.
Thank you.